Anime has become a cultural phenomenon, so much so that it's hard to imagine there's kids growing up right now that never had to experience 4Kids dubs, or Toonami airing weekly, or finding people to talk with on shady internet forums because you were the only kid in your class who enjoyed these weird Japanese cartoons. But times change, and with that, so do the methods of watching these imported anime appurtenances, from various categories on streaming sites to Blu-ray box sets, and of course, hitting the high seas. We now have more anime to consume than Disney has box office bombs in the last couple of years. So welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 most underrated anime that everyone should see. Again, underrated. You're not going to see any Dragon Ball Z's or Rurouni Kenshins on this list. I've curated 10 anime, all of which that I have seen. I'm only pulling from things that I've seen to give you a guide and a list to become the ultimate otaku of anime that just seem to fall under the radar, whether it be because they've been lost to time or they were just lost in this endless stream of ever-consuming content. And considering I've seen close to 400 anime, I feel I am uniquely qualified to give you this list. So before we get into that, hit that subscribe button to feed a hungry otaku in your area, and let's get to the list, shall we? Do you like poignant, character-driven stories where you can connect emotionally with everyone on screen in a meaningful way, only driven further home because death actually has consequences? What about big smashy robots that can destroy cities faster than Democrat policies? Are you a fan of Neon Genesis Evangelion? Then let me introduce you to Boano, a mecha anime from 2007 unlike any you have ever seen before. While mecha is a genre that many people feel like they have a grasp on given its popularity, most non-mecha fans would probably assume this is another generic giant robot show. And they would be wrong on every level. 15 kids away at a summer camp stumble upon a secret base nestled into a cave by the beach filled with computers and one lonely adult. This is not a setup for what you think it's a setup for, when he convinces them to play his brand new game about piloting a robot to defend the Earth from invading aliens. The kids joyfully want to take part, and that is abruptly where the joy ends. From here on out, you're in for a heart-wrenching struggle of a narrative that takes its time fleshing out each and every one of the children in question, while making room for exciting fight scenes as well, and with a twist that will leave your jaw on the floor. I think by episode 2, the CGI robot battles can feel a bit dated, but the emotional resonance of the character writing more than makes up for it in every way. Also, at 24 episodes, you're not going to have a problem knocking this off your watch list if you want to become an anime elitist. 90s nostalgia has been all the rage these last few years, and no anime will get you to relive that time period or experience it for the first time better than the irresponsible Captain Tyler. For the animation and art style all the way down to the funky 90s dance song opening theme, this show oozes charm. Released back in 1993, The Irresponsible Captain Tyler is a sci-fi comedy about Captain Tyler, a slacker who joins the military hoping to get a sat behind a desk and just collect a paycheck until retirement, only for that plan to end abruptly as he accidentally becomes the captain of an intergalactic battleship. Full of a crew of misfits and sci-fi caricatures of common tropes and archetypes you find in classic science fiction movies, from here, the show asks you one question about his constant military victories. Is he the world's luckiest underqualified idiot, or is he secretly a genius using tomfoolery as a facade to avoid work? If Boano was too emotionally heavy for you, but you want to experience an underrated sci-fi gem, then this anime has you covered. Plenty of laugh-out-loud moments with enough heart and warmth to keep you going through all 26 episodes. And it's a 90s anime, so it goes without saying, for the extra sprinkle of comedy gold, make sure to watch the dub. We have all seen the West bastardize anime stories, from their awful remakes like Old Boy and Dragon Ball Evolution, to the horrible modern localizations we've gotten from people like Jamie Marchi. But have you ever wondered, what happens when that's reversed? What would it be like if Japan did an anime adaptation of a Western story? Hell, now is your chance. There's actually a few options you can take to get this experience. Witchblade is an anime that was an adaptation of an American comic book, for example, or there's the Wizard of Oz anime, and yes, you heard that right. There is a Wizard of Oz anime adaptation. However, while both of these are worth checking out, first and foremost, feast your eyes on Treasure Island. Based on the 1881 book by Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson, this is the oldest anime on our list, dating back to 1978. One of the first works of the prestigious Studio Madhouse, who you probably know from their work on anime such as Freeman, Beyond Journey's End, One Punch Man, Overlord, and Death Note. This rendition manages to be both faithful to the original story and equally anime AF. The hand-drawn animation is objectively dated, but you can still see the beauty in the background art, and honestly, a fluidity of movement far more advanced than many other anime that was airing at the same time. And once you knock out all 26 episodes, you'll be able to tell Disney shills that Treasure Planet is now the second best Treasure Island adaptation that you've seen. Have you ever played in a band, try to make the big times, and blow all your money on sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or you subscribe to Wyatt's Metal on YouTube? Well, odds are that didn't pan out for you. Unless on the rare off chance that you're here and you're a famous viewer, I somehow got some sort of famous admirer on my channel. If that's the case, pull up for a live stream. Your boy could use some super chats. I'm really trying hard at this whole YouTube thing. But even if it didn't pan out, I'd wager you still think of it as one of the best times of your life and remember it fondly. Maybe even want to recapture that magic. Well, no music anime will do it better than Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad. If you've ever worked and put in that grind, playing seedy dive bars for an audience of 5 people in a desperate attempt to climb to the top, then you'll be able to relate to this band from this 2004 anime to such an extent. Also done by Studio Madhouse in only 26 episodes, it doesn't take long to fall in love with these characters, and even more importantly, their music. I will say, this is another anime that you certainly need to watch in English. I know many weebs are going to consider that a cardinal sin, but hear me out. The songs were written in English, and as such, they're sang in English. But the Japanese dub, let's just say, doesn't do it justice with their English pronunciations, with the way the songs are structured and sang. Considering this is a music anime, listening in English is going to be your best bet to truly appreciate the music itself. We live in 2024, and it's always strong woman this, powerful female that. It's as if Hollywood and the modern media has been ignoring anime for decades. Well, children, let me take you back to 1985. That's right, Springsteen, Madonna, way before Nirvana. Way before Nirvana, we had these two lovely ladies and their comedic misadventures in Dirty Pair. Kay and Yuri have it all. Looks, laughs, and guns. These two women are basically the A-team. When something's going wrong and you've got the cash to afford it, they will be there to solve your problem guns a-blazing. With one problem. All the collateral damage they will leave after. So, like a typical woman. Seriously though, like all the other older anime on this list, this hand-drawn animation has a charm to it that cannot be undersold. And the opening theme song is pure 80s cheese. The color palette, it is also to die for. The brightest, most vibrant anime probably on this list, just barely beating out Captain Tyler. It's also only 24 episodes and 2 additional episodes as a special to round out the series. This is just a treat for the eyes and the funny bone that all aspiring weebs should experience at least once. From whimsical to withdrawn, this anime is the complete opposite of Dirty Pair. In every way. Dark, brooding, thought-provoking. Released in 1988, Crying Freeman is the story of a Japanese pottery maker turned Chinese mafia's deadliest assassin. Yeah, this one is as NSFW as it gets though, so be prepared for that. It may only be 6 episodes, but there's enough sex, nudity, and bloody violence to make Game of Thrones fans blush. With realistically drawn and proportioned characters, it may be animated, but this is a mob story on par with any Scorsese film. If you're looking for a quick watch that will leave you thinking as well as give you bragging rights about the classic anime you've seen, then this is a great, albeit a bit dark, anime to start off with. Was the last one a little too heavy for you? Political mafia intrigue, that's not everyone's cup of tea. But speaking of cup of tea, how about an anime that's all about the restaurant life? The most recent entry on our list, 2017's Restaurant to Another World, and as the name implies, it is about a restaurant at the nexus point in space and time. This is kind of the anime you watch on a rainy day under the blankets and feel like no time passes at all. There's no real conflict, there's not really even a story, just an episodic adventure of watching customers of all different walks of multiversal life get good food and talk about their experiences. The simple cafe music that plays in the background alongside the high fantasy elements, they are sure to make this one of the most unique experiences you'll have in anime. And given the other entries on the list, it's also sure to be a feast for the eyes with the gorgeous 21st century animation and color techniques. It's also on the shorter side, with only 12 episodes to get through. Just be sure to watch it with a snack, because it's gonna leave you hungry. Look, everyone knows Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. Kenichiro Watanabe is one of the greatest, if not the greatest living legend in anime right now. But not as many are familiar with his 2012 masterpiece, Kids on the Slope. Taking place in Japan in the mid-60s, the show features a group of high school kids who bond over their love of jazz music and trying to find their place in the world while on the cusp of adulthood. Running the emotional gamut of joyful like a John Hughes film to somber like a Makoto Shinkai film, this show will leave you equally satisfied and feeling incomplete. Which sounds awful. But then you realize that that's the show's intent, and you could not ask for a better execution. While Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad is a music anime first with great characters, Kids on the Slope is a character-driven anime first, accompanied by great music. It could be the small cast, it could be the flippant raw emotion that's so prevalent in jazz music, it could even be the length of the show, 12 episodes, a short length for such a short time in these characters' lives. I highly recommend you take this show off your watch list back burner and get down to the back beat. That's enough sappy slice-of-life drama. I know what you people want. You want action. You want it fast. You want it loud. You want it sexy. And what is sexier than two weapon-obsessed women who run an illegal gun shop? I heard boners popping from here. A spin-off of 1989's Riding Bean, which is also great, by the way. Gunsmith Cats is 1995 3-episode OVA that is a certified banger. And considering all the explosions they pack into 3 episodes, I do mean banger. The devil arm of the government that is the ATF rears their ugly head to rope our heroines into an investigation they're conducting, and this show proves that we should all be screaming, "Down with the Fed!" And if 90s action, busty women, and firearms isn't enough to sell you on this, then what are you doing on my channel? Like, go, shoo, subscribe to somebody more fitting of your low T, like Dragon Slayer commentaries. Now you must be asking yourselves, Leon, with your golden anime wisdom and perfect hair, what can possibly be number one after all this hype and build-up? What can be better than a rock band struggling to survive the industry, busty women with Berettas, or Japanese adaptations of classic English literature? And I will tell you guys, Otaku No Video. Now, I know. You have no idea what that is. That's okay though. Papa Leon's here to guide you through the forest. You're about to learn the whole list we've been talking about underrated anime. But this is an underrated anime about an underrated anime industry. It is truly like no other Japanese production you have ever seen before. So much so that I'm not even going to bother writing a synopsis. I'm just going to steal the one that's already being used on Kitsu, the anime tracking website. Somewhat based on the real story of how Gainax was founded, Otaku No Video addresses all aspects of an otaku lifestyle. Ken Kubo is a young man living an average life until he is dragged into a group of otaku. Slowly, he becomes more like them until he decides to abandon his former life to become the king of otaku, the Ota King. Mixed in are live-action interviews with real otaku addressing every aspect of hardcore otaku life. Not only are anime and manga fans included, but also sci-fi fans, military fans, and other groups of Japanese geeks. I mean, after reading to you guys that synopsis, it is painfully clear. If you want to truly appreciate anime and anime culture, then it's best to familiarize yourself with the classics, the history, and there isn't a single other production out there that will do that for you like this 2-episode OVA from 1991. And there you have it, Leon's top 10 underrated anime that every weeb must see at least once. guys, there is thousands upon thousands of anime and manga out there. There's gonna be something for everyone. Detective stories, power fantasies, sci-fi, drama, romance, and while anyone can queue up an episode of something trendy on Netflix or Hulu, it takes a real weeb to dig deep and find some of these hidden or forgotten gems, some lost to time, others simply lost in the sea of ever-expanding content as anime becomes increasingly renowned with each passing season in the West. And while I've seen a lot of anime, there's always going to be more. So you gotta let me know what ones in the comments that you recommend, anime that you've seen that you love, get a conversation going, get the message out there to weebs, foster and build community, because that's what this YouTube game is all about. Heck, you might not even like any of the anime I recommended, because after all, these are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X where you can find me at BoltTheWord, and please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, except for when I'm doing scripted analysis videos like this that are frankly just fun to do once or twice a month. But other than that, get ready for some hard-hitting news every day. Hit the subscribe button and check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, because it's all here in the nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.